Hey guys, it's Snake Eyes here. I'm bringing you a brand new build called Blood Dome. This is for the MAYhem May Arena Challenge and Discord for Cordless's channel. Um, as you can see by the trailer, it looks badass. It's inspired by Mad Max and decided to tie in a bit with the military thing. They did test bombs over in this area and a little bit of lore to it. So I hope you guys like it. I wanted to do kind of a Mad Max Raider style build. I decided to do it a little bit more junky, like I usually do with my builds. Uh, as you can see, there I tried to tie in the military aspect, where there were bombs being carried to the military facility, and how they used that to their advantage, and that's probably why they settled in this area. So it's called the Blood Dome, and when they first came here, there were the Red Rocket Raiders. That's my faction that I created with my lore. That's what I'll be telling you about. So the Red Rocket Raiders are a group of raiders that came from my Red Rocket build when they abandoned my Red Rocket build because it was terrible. No one watched my video. No, that's not why. But that's pretty much why. So they abandoned that Red Rocket area and they came to this area to settle. They found the remaining structure from the Sphere um, water tower on the right side of the road that I will soon show you. They used that as an arena. So they decorated, well, not decorated, they took over this area. They claimed a settlement for themselves. They tried to live on their own. And eventually, the disciples from Nuka World came through. They came over and there were fights, not in the arena, but they fought over the land. Disciples wanted the arena, the Red Rocket Raiders wanted the arena, so they ended up deciding to share the land and basically have fights there. So they have cages and other things. So this is the garage area, and this guy up here is actually the champion. He is the champion of the arena. He puts his enemies' bodies as decoration, as his winning valor, I suppose. There's food right there in the cabinet. He kind of just stays up here at when he's not working in the garage, as he's also the repairman, or the what's words um the garage guy. Yes, I'll call him the garage guy. Well, he works out. He does crap ton for the settlement. He's the half ruler of the settlement. He's the Red Rocket Raiders leader, the champion. He's the reigning champion over the disciples. And this is his garage. This is Coley Mad Max inspired. I mean, look at it. So, yeah. So he works on ATVs. He works on cars. Um, and it's still with that Raider theme going. The garage guy, as I will call him, the reigning champion. He tends to get into disputes with the disciples, and the two raider gangs rival each other, and they often battle in the arena. Well, they often battle, and they chose to fight it out in the arena as a more kind of a I don't know what the word is, because my vocabularistics today are fantastic, but it's a little bit more civil, I guess, a little bit more merciful instead of just all out war. So they cast each of their best men into the Blood Dome to fight for their winning Raider gang, or their winning Raider faction. So when they do that, Uh, they each are given a button for traps and other things, like, not traps, cages. They release death claws and dogs and ghouls sometimes, and other things like that. This is the clinic. This is where they get patched up. Uh, a disciple actually works here. A female disciple works here and helps everybody. But she also helps the Red Rocket Raiders because she's not really on a side. She doesn't think um, the arena is a very perfect way of settling a dispute over who gets the land. So she decides to help both. This is where a viewing area may be for some of the raiders, and they get kind of a good view from there. And this is where typically a raider boss or the champion, as I spoke before, would sit. And they would choose when to pull that switch right there and let a Deathclaw run out and kill them, or dogs, or whatever. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, that's where they would sit. And then over here, we have an armor area. There's dead bodies in cages. That's how it is with raiders. I decided to go for a little bit more of a settler kind of thing. I talked to Axu about it, and she thought it was kind of a why would raiders do this? But I'm like, I thought it was cool. I thought it was like little action figures. I'm like, for the arena. I'm like, why not? So yeah, I decided to do that. It's like a little gift shop, except it's little action figures. So this is the weapon area, and there's all weapons and ammo here. Try to fill out every spot with ammo. Give it as much space as you can. And he kind of he gets his supplies actually from the military surplus, as you'll see fairly soon. He gets his stuff from the military outpost, whatever it's called, military base. Is that what it is? I don't know. He gets his stuff from there, and then he brings it over here and sells it to the raiders and stuff. And he also gets a nice little viewing area because without the weapons that he sells, I doubt they would have much fun in there. Because the raiders kind of rely on him for the weapons and stuff instead of taking them over and being mean and only giving weapons to certain raiders. He decides to take matters into his own hands and deal out the weapons to both sides of it, both raider factions. So he does that, and this isn't a continuous point at which they always uh, fight over. They're always fighting over this land, and as each raider goes down, each champion goes down from them, they get to take over more and more land. And eventually, the disciples got to a point where they took over a lot of the Red Rocket Raiders areas. So this is where the disciples took over, which used to be owned by the Red Rocket Raiders. And there's also a nice little, not a nice little, but where the kids would go, the Kid Raiders would go, and they would peek through the wall to see inside of the arena for themselves. Even though there's dead bodies there and stuff, it's pretty gross. But they would go there anyways, and there's what remains of a military checkpoint for the military base. And the raiders kind of, again, take over. They destroy and they kill. It's pretty much all they do. And they fight. So an arena seems very fitting for them. So this is where they would hold Red Rocket Raiders, or even their own, just for torture methods. And it's a continuous war at this point, where they would kill Red Rocket Raiders and put them over here, kill them, imprison them in between the spike bridges, and this is where they're most high regarded raiders would go. There's guard outpost right here. I can see over. But they would trap them in cages. They would just torture them, as all raiders should. Um, now, back over here, we have a storage area. This is where the first Red Rocket Raiders settled. They have all their supplies, where they had all their food and crates and whatnot, and fuel. And this is where the Red Rocket Raiders settle, but it kind of got taken over by disciples yet again. And yeah, so this area, this is the dome up above where they took the parts for the arena. Now this is where the disciples show off their winning valor with the champions they've killed of the Red Rocket Raiders, as well as eating them and resorting to cannibalism, because they are in the desert as of this setting, even though they have a small farm, as you can see. So most of them kind of stay inside of the military base. They often sleep there. Many of the raiders just sleep in the military base instead of here, because it's very unsanitary. But they don't really care about that anyways. But there's just not enough space. So there's chairs to sleep on. Usually that's what they do. They sit on couches, chairs, and some raider decorations. But right here is where they would form raider uh, prayers or whatnot, or just worshiping like demons, Satan. I don't know what raiders worship. I don't know their religion. I just figured it would be cool to think of like a little shrine thing. This is someone's bed. Here's where one of their champions may work out. And then over here is a little guard outpost, because they're always on the lookout for Red Rocket Raiders trying to sneak in and take over or kill anybody. So they have blood and bodies just to scare off the Red Rocket Raiders. They also have their own weapons, and which they probably stole from the one guy over there, and that stole from the military base, or they just got it from the military base somehow. But yeah, they have their own weapons as well, so they're not afraid to fight, and the Red Rocket Raiders know that they're there, and they are able to fight. This is a little house area on top of the truck. I didn't know what to do with the truck, so I figured, hey, a little house area would be cool. This is where maybe a high-ranking raider would live, and they would have a little smoking area to view the entrance and whatnot. It's a little place to be. And I believe that might wrap it up now. Yep, there's a little area here. This is where the very low-ranking raiders would sit and watch the event. They would often die most of the time because the beasts are so close. And this is the end of the Blood Dome. Hope you guys liked my entry. Good luck to anybody else in the challenge. And peace out, guys.